Hey again, David Phillips, attorney. The question was asked, if your small business fails, do you need to file bankruptcy? The answer to that question depends on how you set up the business entity that you're talking about. If you set up a corporation, say for a dry cleaner, a small business like that, and it was truly handled as a separate entity from yourself, it's possible that you would have no liability for the debts of the corporation. You might very well own all of the stock in the corporation, but if the business itself had no value at the time it failed, then the only thing you would really lose would be, of course, your interest in the stock if you had made an investment, something like that. That is usually what occurs if your business was incorporated, and that would include maybe an LLC, a limited liability company where you hold a membership interest. But one way to kind of look at it would be, do you file a separate tax return for the business from yourself? If you do, then there's an excellent chance that any of the debts that the business has would not be debts of yours, and therefore you would not need a bankruptcy filing. However, if you co-signed or guaranteed in any way the debts of that business, then you may very well have to file bankruptcy if the amount of debt is overwhelming and you cannot afford to take care of it. Unfortunately, in most of these small business corporations, you're going to be required to sign on the loan with those companies at most of the banks and loan companies because the business doesn't have an established track record to be able to borrow money. So probably in some instances you would be liable for the debts of the corporation and end up having to file bankruptcy, as we discussed. If your business is a sole proprietorship, like most small businesses are, then in almost all instances you will be responsible for the debts of the business. It's in essence your debt. You may keep separate books and records and so forth just so that you can keep it clear as to what goes on with the business versus your personal finances. But in the end, if it's a sole proprietorship, the obligation is yours. The business is really on the paperwork in name only because a sole proprietorship does not really have a separate business entity for the creditors to look to. I hope that information was helpful for you. We'd be more than happy to discuss whether you may need to file bankruptcy following the failure of a small business you may be involved with. As always, you can give our offices a call at any time, or if you prefer to email, just go to my webpage, phillipsbankruptcy.com, and go to the contact section, shoot us an email, and we will respond promptly. Thank you for watching our video.